basically. So keep up the momentum to the absolute T. Just to recap on oil. The um back first and foremost, and a lot that appreciated that and did well. Uh, Back actually, so appreciate. General little update, so to speak, and there is further downside potentially ahead. Still many opportunities that buy into this trade. So again, I mean, just a quick recap. Candlestick is really prior month. You have a massive amount of selling pressure, then it came back up. So that selling pressure essentially got filled once again. So in this month, the sellers basically drove price down to kind of last last month if you kind of look at it in that perspective. So again, it's in very, very, very critical zone. So we spoke about the structure last time. The structure is certainly valid. We even came back, injected it and it's lower. So again, we looked at the Fibonacci. So we've gone from A to B to C, and essentially what the market could be doing now with oil is D leg A B C D, so complete the Fibonacci pattern. Quite something, but I think for the meantime, so if you step down towards like lower time frames, for example, so you can see with oil there's a little in momentum. So I mean, last day, so to speak, I think this was Thursday, so we got really, 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 really out of selling pressure. It went down. I think it was 6% in that specific day alone. Sorry, day alone. So yeah, and the following day after that, you can see it didn't kind of come to the low. So a little bit of a loss of momentum. It might look at coming back into this area, maybe looking for some rejections potentially around here, 36.75. But ultimately, the market just could plummet at the end of the day, and this is because of again fresh coronavirus restrictions. The UK are going into a lockdown as well. Germany, France eventually impose nationwide lockdown. So, you're looking at a drop, and again, a continuous drop in terms of gasoline demand and jet fuel demand, and generally oil. Will not benefit from this. And with the cases, rising in America as well, the probes the question: does America do this, the same thing? Do they go down? If so, that could be catastrophic for oil markets. So, I mean, just to kind of give you a general target region for oil, new week, beginning of the month, first of elections as well, so watch out. But what could be the scenario here in general is that get a little bit of a pullback with oil. Again, like I said, maybe maximum limitation could build off the smaller time frames. So if you look at the four, certainly some support there. So do price come back into here at that point, or do we get a straight drop in the market? We'll have to see. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated in a Telegram group actually that I just set up that will give literally live commentary updates um, through so steady flow of info coming in. Just yeah. I mean, looking at my FX book, I'm also going to link on oil for yeah. Don't ask about this one, but profitability 76 low of positions. And if you look, literally oil was anyways. So generally speaking, yeah, 341% gain, really really good, and really really pleased with that. So the whole point is just to keep it moving with the account, keep it flowing, and let's see what. I'm actually very very excited. Go a lot of recap um, strategies over the, and I think that yeah, this week could be a very interesting week. And the trade two that I want to show you guys is something that's in the UK. I think you might people from the UK will be able to understand this a little bit more, and look at this as an opportunity. So over the weekend, some news in the UK came out. So England, so we got a stay at home. You got a stay at home order due to the rising coronavirus cases. So again, it's the second national lockdown. Um, in the UK. Last one was obviously March, April. Non-essential businesses forced to close, and pubs, bars, and restaurants are going to be closed as well. But and again, in addition to that, so if even if you just look at that in general, retail shops, there's obviously going to be a drop there in retail, maybe retail spending as well, for example. So that could ultimately be the case, and that is bad for the asset that I'm going to show you. But in addition to that as well, it's something that you can also relate to oil. So holiday air travel from England is going to be suspended for a while. So that's again going back to oil, a significant drop in and again gasoline demand. I mean, people won't be moving as such. That there is also already restrictions there in place. In areas in the UK, tier one, tier two, tier three. Um, but yeah, obviously the other I'm going to show you is the FTSE 100, the UK 100. So just to touch on that a little bit more, so the UK 100 it represents the strength of the UK economy. So it's the top 100 companies in the so they get the market capitalization divided by a specific amount gives you the value of that asset in general. So with this one, I want to start again from monthly time frame. We want to start top down, monthly, weekly, daily, and eventually going into the lower time frames like 4 hour, where you're going to be focusing more on your execution when you're looking to jump into the market. Again, this is the month that closed. So when the market opens this evening, we're going to have candlesticks. So this is how the month closed for FTSE 100. Very bearish, as you can see. So the market came up, touched the moving average, gave it some dynamic resistance, reverse price, swang it back lower down into 5,600. So again, a very flat price, very psychological zone. But more or less, it just came back into the kind of supportive levels that the market saw back in March, April. If you look March, April, so the market's been pressed back down to this point here. So it really begs the question: is the UK economy about to crash? Literally, um, that is a very very good question. It may be very gradual, but certainly it looks like there may be some additional pressure there in the FTSE 100. So that's the monthly time frame, and as you can see, there's multiple areas, so to speak, that eventually the market may drive back into, where it was at, March, April, for example, where the market crashed due to coronavirus. So it's the same situation with oil, pretty much. So if you remember oil, if you look at the last video, you have the high point, market makes a significant drop, it comes back into an area where there may be some resistance, maybe you could take build in here, sell, 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 and literally that's actually a really, really good one. Distance, monthly time frame, of course. So but you can see very, very clearly how the market came in, forming a new low high. You know, high lows have already been taken out. So new lower highs. So essentially, the market may ultimately start to drive into point one potentially, point two, and then from that region, if that's broken, then you're looking at some significant downside, potentially back to 2009 lows. Okay, where the market crashed last. So very important time actually, I would say, for the UK. Very, very critical. Very, very critical. And just stepping down to the weekly time frame. So I actually want to remove. So that was from the monthly time frames. We don't need that anymore. But yeah, I mean, again, you can see that support zones have been respected very well, and also, resistance zones have also been. So this was again a structural support area for the FTSE for 3 years. And we broke through it with a crash in April, March, and again new lower high, and look where it's at, literally at the previous structural support zone. Big reversal candlestick. The market pretty much has been doing what? Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, very discreetly lower high, and ultimately you've got a lower low once again. So a very clear picture is forming here that the market essentially could be looking to continue its downside pressure for spill lower. So again, this is an opportunity, and I'm going to be focusing on this and oil. I think tremendous potential in the market this week, to be honest. Again, the Telegram group that I'm going to post link is going to be in the bio, and I encourage you to join. I'll just literally give commentary, track this movement on the FTSE. But yeah, just to continue, just a couple more minutes now, just to look into how the market may alter. So again, a little look into a smaller structural support zone that held throughout September, October. So a good chunk of time that the market was supported in this region. And October was ultimately going into the last couple of days with the rise in cases as well with Corona. You can see how that structural support level was broken, and it came into here with some velocity and broke through another support zone that was ultimately on the higher time frame, and found some support at kind of average 5,500. So again, a nice psychological area, so to speak, in the market. So what could be the cases? Because ultimately the market's at 5,600, so you might get some just to kind of gauge how this may be, because I'm not too sure how the market may react now. Um, when the market opens, there could ultimately just be just big drop in price, because again, the sentiment amongst investors may not be generally positive. So it's also taken into account that sentiment, and the actions in the market could be very, very quick. But I would say the best case scenario for this would be just to maybe look at coming back into this zone, 5,640 potentially, and ultimately even back down into, let's say, 5,720 zone. So again, if we look at it quite on a discrete level, you have again lower high, again lower low, lower high. So three lower highs eventually lead to a breakdown in price. So that's also quite significant to take into account. Now that we found a bit of support there at 5,500, we might bounce back, form a new lower high, maybe tap the 61.8% Fibonacci. So that would be again another really, really good scenario that confirms quite a few things. A new lower high. Just have to gauge, I guess, how the market may move from that. But yeah, you can see how that on the smaller time frame, now we're on 4 hours, we can see how price is building up, protect themselves a little bit, liquidate their positions, and maybe see the market start to roll over. Potentially, let's just see. So yeah, we can see as well that there is a little bit of markets kind of generally wrapped inside. So point A, point B. So maybe if price does break above this area, then you can see maybe a revisit, and then just wait for a few things to happen. I'll keep you guys updated as well on the channel, and then we might. So let's just see. But it's obviously a very, very big week ahead. You got Donald Trump, Joe Biden election, so that's a interesting thing in the market, I definitely say trade safe. Uh, Definitely say trade safe. There's going to be a lot of volatility. You calculate that risk. But yeah, so again now just literally 1 hour time frame, prices building up. We can see that really good support. So it's just ultimately if we do get a push back above again, if that range kind of breaks through, if let's say we 5,613, if we keep reversing lower, then we might just get that straight drop again, like oil potentially. That would be a blessing. So that's pretty much the FTSE 100. So the focus will be on coronavirus cases again. The reaction also as well with the general public, so that can also influence the price a bit more. So if people are generally, obviously, it's not a great situation, but if things do escalate and there is, some riots involved, then that can ultimately hurt the FTSE 100 as well potentially. So a lot of factors to include. Consider as well. So like I said, I'll keep you updated in the Telegram channel, and it's going to be an interesting week. I've got some good confidence. I've got a few positions that I'm looking at as well. FTSE 100. Sorry, not FTSE 100. Euro GBP. So good structure broken, very strong candlestick. Ultimately, we might just get a drop into zero. Let's see. Could pull back and then boom. So that's something I'm looking at. Euro JPY. Maybe a move down into 121. So again, if we look at that a little bit more, lower high, lower low, 61.8 resistance. We could go 1.25, or 121, 121.80. Some good momentum to potentially catch there. So yeah, that could be. There's quite a few setups this week. So gold, I'm gonna leave that. Yeah. So again, let's keep it moving. I think yeah, the Telegram is going to be really nice. Look out towards the end of the week as well. On the social media, some nice releases with inside effects. So uh, that's going to be quite interesting. I'm really excited. So yeah, I think yeah, get onto this Telegram group. I'll try and post a couple of things here on Instagram. Uh, Very busy week, but I think generally it's going to be interesting this week. So many things to consider, so many things that can move the market. So that can be very risky, but can also be, a very good opportunity. So making sure that the risk management is maintained, and y- there could be so many opportunities. So I'll see you guys there, and peace out. Trade two. Let's go.